was sinking in a world of sin. With grace and mercy, they took me in. Took my feet out of the miry clay. Placed them on the rock to stay. Oh, what a relief it was when God rescued me. He loosed the chains that had me bound. Then he set me free. It felt like cooling water.
Now listen, when I saw these brothers singing Cooling Water, I said to myself, well, this ought to be interesting. And honestly, they weren't bad. They had their own little flavor, but they weren't bad at all. And at the end of this video, I'm gonna do my own version of Cooling Water, if you're willing to hang out with me for a few moments. Now watch this. It got me thinking about something on a completely different level though, because I spent a few years as a child in rural North Carolina. And when I first heard Cooling Water, I actually thought that the song was about a cold drink, right? I thought, who doesn't love a tall, cold drink, right? That makes perfect sense to me. But the older I got, the more I realized that they weren't singing about a glass of water. They were singing about relief. They were singing about being at peace. They were singing about God bringing you through something. The joy of being baptized, the joy of being saved, right? And so even when I thought the song was about a tall glass of water, all of those things, the relief, the joy, the peace, all of that was there. The song didn't change, but I changed. The older that I got, the more I lived life, the more I started hearing things that I'd never heard in those same lyrics before, right? And there's some things that you hear at 10 years old that don't really make sense until you turn 40, And truly, that's why we think about the word. When I was a child, I spoke, I thought, I reasoned as a child. In other words, there are some things that you're just not going to understand until you grow up. And even when I thought Cooling Water was about, a glass of water, the peace was in the song. The relief was in the song. The grace was in the song. I just hadn't lived long enough to hear it. So here's your reset. Don't be surprised when old songs start sounding different. Don't be surprised when old scriptures start hitting different, right? Don't be surprised when songs that you've heard your whole life suddenly start to make sense. Because sometimes growth isn't about learning something new. Sometimes it's finally understanding what was there all along. Now, let me see if I remember Cooling Water.
It felt like cooling water, cooling water, cooling water from